Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors on this Friday, January the 4th. It's Bill Allen again sitting in for Winston, who is, I'm assuming, still down at the Cape fishing, but we got a good show lined up for you, a couple of special guests that I always really enjoy having on here. Well, let's look first at the weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. Today, temperature is going to be high of 62. We're looking at a low of 43, so as that front's moved through, it's going to start to get progressively cooler, which, of course, I love for what I'd fish in the wintertime. But we're going to have a northeast wind at 10 miles an hour and only about a 10% chance of rain. So it looks like a great day to be out there as opposed to yesterday. Tides, Panama City high is at 3:54 p.m. and a low at 7:15 a.m. this morning. St. Joe, of course, runs pretty similar. 4:27 p.m. is the high over there with the low at 7:20 a.m. The Apalachicola River has surged to 2.4 feet. You know, I say it every time. You got to really be careful running around the river down there because there's stuff sticking up that I don't think anybody's ever seen. But just be careful when you head that way. But it'll be a good time to fish. There's a little more water. Choctawhatchee at Caryville is at 6.6 and it's falling. So if, like me, you like to go out and chase those little catfish around, you can find some of those holes over there, some of those bends in the river, and when it's at 6.5 and falling down to about 3 feet or so, that's an excellent time to go chase those little catfish over there that I love so much. Stay with us. We got a lot to talk about today, a couple of really special guests, and let's take a break, go pay the bills. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am joined today by two of the premier captains out here and a couple of real good friends of mine. Is Matt Smith. Morning, Bill. And Justin Leake, who I enjoy having on all the time because I don't have to talk a lot. These guys, you probably know their backgrounds. They're like me, born and raised here, and also graduates of Winston's class, right?
That's right, class of 2000, outdoor education alumni.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know if Matt even remembers, but there was actually an outdoor ed scholarship when we were there, and me and Matt and Mandy Miller were the three outdoor ed recipients.
Wow, I don't know about the other one. I know about these two.
So you see what good came out of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people, Winston has taught that. He started that outdoor ed class, and in my opinion, it ought to be in every high school that we have.
You're right.
Probably kept two of y'all out of jail, but I look at some of these guys. I run into them all the time. You probably know better than I do. But, you got a lot of wildlife officers that came through that class. Sure. Yep. You got a lot of people who are working in the fishing industry in one way or another, and I just think it's fantastic.
I specifically remember, Justin and I grew up, in the outdoors, but I specifically remember being in that class with people that maybe didn't have the opportunity, sure. And it developed an interest, and still to this day, it has changed their life and has opened their eyes up to the outdoors, and that's what it's all about.
And that's true. And we were fortunate. I grew up with a rod in my hand. My dad loved fishing more than anything. And I know you guys are the same. We've been on this water all our life. There's people who don't get the opportunity. And Winston really, exposes those kids to things that they wouldn't see before. And I talk to him, and there's a lot of people who don't have the resource, but there are guys and girls in his class right now that will take other classmates fishing and out and do these things. So, you get the opportunity to support that. I know budgets are tight right now, and this is really turning into a commercial for that, but that's okay.
It's worthwhile.
Budgets are tight right now, and it's really tight. So if you get the opportunity to help that outdoor ed class or start something in a school like Arnold, like Michael Coward is, who he's grown up fishing, but he would love the opportunity to do something like that. A lot of his classmates would as well.
And just taking I think last time Justin and I were on talking about taking a young person, riding to the woods to put out corn at your deer stand. That's an adventure to a kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Get them out, take a kid from the neighborhood that might not have a chance to even see some of the things that we are so blessed with, and just always enhancing, promoting, and that's the future.
Oh, there's no question about it. And in the outdoors, we need more people out there. You need more people fishing, and we're going to get into this later, but you need more people fishing. You need more people hunting out there. The revenues that come from that for the state, for us locally are just tremendous. With fishing license and people buy boats, and there's just a whole industry built around it. But it gives you a lot more people who, the more you fish and the more you're outside, the more you care about the environment that you're in.
That's the truth. That's people always we categorize people and we think of certain people as being environmentalists, certain people not being. But I firmly believe that your outdoorsmen are your true environmentalists.
The first conservationists.
That's exactly right. Nobody cares. You look at that in any society. The people that use a resource are the people that care about it the most.
Appreciate it the most.
That's right.
And want to do right with it. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's true. And I know that the FWC, that they're pretty good about listening, to public opinion, but you really have to have people who are, in my opinion, this Bill's opinion, but you got to have people with a voice that are out there who are doing things.
Absolutely.
You're out on the water every day. You're out in the woods during the wintertime. You're taking advantage of this. People in the meetings, and I've been to meetings, I've voiced my opinion on the redfish limits and all that. Of course, nobody listened to me, but I'm not saying they didn't listen, but, the majority of people that I talk to, you guys included, I won't speak for you, but, we catch a lot of redfish. Mm-hmm. And this is not bragging, but that's what we do. I fish for redfish, except in the wintertime, I love my trout. But I'm going to release all of them. Yeah. They create an industry for us. We can all remember a time when you couldn't go out catching a redfish. Yeah. And you look at how many boats are purchased right now, how many rods and reels are purchased, all because now we've got an industry. The net van did a tremendous thing for us, guys, because now, like some of those, I caught trout the other day with 23 inches. This past year, I caught some in the 5-6 pound range. That was never here before.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of things that impact what we do, on a daily basis. But we're going to come back. We're going to kind of wrap up the year. We're going to start from the summer back, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do right now to go out and catch fish. So give us a minute here to take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm here again. I was a little remiss when I introduced these guys. I should have put captain in front of both their names. That's exactly right. No, I really respect that. And they're out on this water. They're making a living out here, young guys doing this, and just got me just as jealous as I can be. So anyway, I'm here with the captains. And last time they were on, we talked about how terrible the summer was. We all had a great spring, but we had 40 days and 40 nights of rain. People building arcs everywhere.
That's right.
And the water just got black. The water just got black. Yeah. So post that, the water starts clearing up. I know, Justin, you spend a little more time offshore, and you pretty much stay in that skinny water. What went on for the rest of the year?
All right, Justin.
Well, it didn't take long, honestly, on the Gulf side for the water to clean up.
Yeah.
It kind of calmed down, the rain slowed, and the water cleared up out there pretty quick. But it was pretty amazing. I think Matt will tell you too, the length of time it took for the water in the bay to clear up.
True.
Even behind Shell Island, right around the pass, places that generally you would think are going to clear up very quickly. And we had decent tide flow, and for some reason it just took a while for it to clean up.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually found, a lot of us found on the bay boats, found ourselves spending more time on the Gulf than we normally would, just because we had access to some clean water. During the summertime, clean water is very important.
Well, that was it, and I found myself in the skiff searching out pockets, areas of clean water, and what I actually found was even up in the head of the bay where you think it would be. Two interesting things up in the head of the bay. If you found somewhere off of the main passage of the bay system, off of the main current, there's areas that cleaned up first. And then also what may surprise people is you would think the head of the bay, with it being where most of your influx of fresh water comes in, being the dirtiest, that's actually the first to clean up. because all that stained and dirty water is moving out. So at one point in time, you had much dirtier water out there at the pass and around the Gulf than you had up in the head of the bay. It cleans up first, but it made for an interesting year. Anytime you're able to overcome a challenge and work around it, you become a better fisherman.
It was certainly a challenge.
It was certainly a challenge.
So what are you guys doing right now? What's hot?
Well, right now for me, this time of year in the bay doing the shallow water stuff, it all depends on the weather. When it gets cold and stays cold, it really locks things in, and things are predictable. Fish get in certain places, for the winter, and the colder it gets, the better. If my hands are burning at daylight and I can barely feel them, I know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, I think I said that yesterday.
You just got to bundle up and brace yourself.
I think that goes with our fishing year round. Is just consistency. You got consistency in the weather. Exactly. Right. And I'll tell you one thing that has been very consistent and has been as good as I've ever seen it is those redfish in the pass.
Yeah,
there's plenty of redfish out there. There's been a lot of people fishing them. They've been getting a lot of pressure, but there's a lot of fish there. And I will say, I'm all for if somebody wants to keep some fish. Hey, as long as it's within the law, I don't see any problem with it. I like to eat fish as much as the next guy, but our redfish slot limits were created to protect those breeder size reds.
Absolutely,
those are your features.
Well, there are some slot fish out there, but I kind of think I think our redfish, we have two different fish. We got our fish on the flats in the bay that are not breeder fish.
Absolutely.
And then we have those fish out there in the pass with those big schools that are out there to breed.
Now, didn't you sneak up on a small one the other day?
On a small what?
50 pounds.
I was going to bring a picture of that too.
It
was huge.
Something real quick with that is for folks, remember the pinch tail rule, and when you're in a situation like that, time is of the essence. Pull that fish up, have your measuring board ready, lay that fish out, be sure you do it right, pinch the tail quickly, get your picture, and don't just throw that fish back overboard. Lean over the side of the boat, hold that fish by the tail for a second. Let the fish get acclimated and situated. A redfish is funny. If you just throw him back in the water, he'll turn upside down and he'll float out into the Gulf, and he'll either die on the surface or a dolphin's going to eat him. Very seldom will they rejuvenate.
I tell you what, that's a good, and this will be my tip of the day.
Let's hear it.
Because I watch as many fishing shows as the next guy. I've seen every different method of reviving fish. Some people are going to try to swim them back and forth or pull them back and forth. Everybody's got different things. What I have personally found, and you
put your hands on a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. Is when you set a fish in the water, I hold him by his tail upright, and I don't do anything.
Just let him.
Yes, I just hold him still, let that fish get his bearings, and let him swim off out of your hand.
Absolutely.
And sometimes as soon as you set him in the water, bam, he takes off. Right. Sometimes I've sat there for 5 minutes. And let that fish, and a redfish especially, you let them go, they'll roll over on their back. And, I've been fishing there in the past and watched fish drift off,
and we bring
out
back
to the whistle buoy, and he's still upside down.
Those are the big females. Those are the future of the fishery. Yeah. If you're going to take care of any fish, those need to be handled properly. And everybody do it, do it right
and
way.
I know not everybody's going to do it, but I fish circle hooks out there. Yeah. I pinch barbs because you're going to get plenty of bites. Yeah. If you were to lose one, it's not going to be the end of the world. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, a redfish on a circle hook with a pinch barb, they stay on. They have a gummy mouth. Yeah. It's not like a trout that's going to come up and shake his head and throw the hook. They stay on very good. So anyways, that will help those fish, and it'll help you release them.
Conservation.
Hey, the thing about a redfish, and the thing that I love about them the most is they're going to give you everything they got.
Absolutely. True. And that current times 2.
That's exactly right. And, by the time they get to the boat, now I'm talking about the decent fish. By the time they get to the boat, they're worn out, and you should probably be a little bit worn out too.
That's
so
right.
Take your time and get those fish back in the water.
Absolutely.
Now, the law is the law. You can keep them if you want to. I release them all. Because I believe the redfish is an industry. I think they're more valuable in the water than they are out of the water.
Absolutely.
Bill's opinion, okay? Stay within the law, do whatever you want to. But take your time releasing those fish, especially those big fish.
Absolutely.
Don't be in a hurry. You got plenty of time. Sit in there like, Justin said it's true. You can wiggle those things around. I've seen people doing this. Just give them time to recover.
Yeah.
It's like
Think of what that fish has gone through coming out of 40, 50 foot of water in the current, and so a lot of us are fishing light tackle, which is great. There again, don't do too light where you spend 30 minutes on a fish. Just really think about it, and most folks do. I think most folks do.
And right now, there's a lot of redfish in the pass. I mean, that's not a there's a lot of slot fish out there. A lot of boats. And there's a lot of boats out there. And there's a lot of big fish. So, you can go out there and have a good time. I've heard everything from people bouncing those great big gulp to fishing live bait, to however you want to catch them. Just respect what you're catching.
That's right.
Just take your time with those fish. Get them back out there. The most important thing is that people maybe don't realize this. And it's like Matt said, these big fish, these are the breeding fish. This is where the future of the redfish are coming from. So, just respect what you're catching and get them back in the water.
It's a magnificent sport fish.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break here and come back with the next segment. Hey, welcome back here with Captains Justin Leake. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up. You want to talk a little bit about the creeks and what's going on this wintertime fishing?
Absolutely. Tradition for a long, long time here in the Panhandle. Wintertime trout fishing in creeks, canals. Basically what it is anywhere fish can get off the flats and get into some deeper, more stable, usually warmer water. Sure. And the colder it gets, the better it gets. They get stacked up, like people say, like cordwood. And
I was about to say that video just yesterday or the day before when y'all were over in Appalachia, same kind of thing. You're in the river there. Yeah. Well, the same thing in our creeks here. Right. You get in those creek channels, you find a bend that has a washout, a deep hole in it, something like that. Mm-hmm. Those trout aren't scattered among. I mean, you look at the area of flats we have here, of grass flats. Well, those cover up with trout during the summer. Right. Well, you take all that area and condense them into some creeks and little bayous and stuff like that. You have a lot of fish in a small area.
It's a very, very unique situation, and it's one that it's hard to compare to anything else. So encourage folks to get out and do that while we have these cold snaps. We get some rain in here, some cold, and those fish really. It's not that they're not there, excuse me, already, but that cold really locks them in and gets them competitive, and it's a neat deal. Catch a lot of fish, have a good time. Of course, be responsible, take what you need, release the rest, handle your fish well. And then what I was going to talk about this past week and over the weekend is out red fishing, and we know how much we enjoy red fishing. And when I'm out riding around in the bay, I'm always thinking of the next place I might look or catch a fish. And every year when we get these winter low tides, a combination of that dead low tide at daylight and a hard north wind, the amount of water it pushes out of this bay, and the places that just go dry. Yes. And all day you say, man, maybe by 12, maybe by 1, I might be able to get that boat in there. Maybe. And here these tides are starting to come in a little bit better now. But there for a while they just stayed out all day, and there are very few places you could get up and fish. But that's what makes it interesting.
I almost spent the night the other night.
Well, yeah.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah, that's another good tip right there is, I know a lot of people, before they hit out, they look at the tides. All right, the tide's coming in all day, which during the winter, it generally is going to come in all day. Right. But when you're trying to plan out your day, you really, especially right now, you need to make sure you're looking at what the wind is doing also.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if it's blowing 15 to 20 out of the northeast, and you're supposed to have a foot of tide coming in, it's not going to come in. It's probably going to drop lower.
Listen, I'm a loyal CETO member, and I'm not going to tell you why, but I'm a loyal CETO member. But also, you can get in places where they can't get you.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's right.
Again, I'm not going to say how I know that, but it's true. So you got to have a pole with you. You got to be careful, and don't just tear up the bottom with a big motor, because you're not going to do any good. Just bite the bullet, get out, and push the thing out. Sometimes that's it.
Get yourself in more trouble. I know we're watching our time, and really we'll take opportunity here. I think this is a fantastic platform. We never really get into politics on the show, and I think that's a good thing to stick with. But at the same time, when it's as much or more the outdoors, I think it's something we need to talk about. Just going to bring up real quick the issue with the boat ramp at Crooked Creek, proposed boat ramp. First off, I'd like to thank St. Joe Company for donating land, enhancing Bay County. They do a fantastic job with that. I want to thank the county commissioners for taking the interest and to provide public access. That's what we need. They have done a great job. They'll continue to do a great job. But this issue with it kind of being pushed through, I think we as citizens and outdoorsmen deserve opportunity for a public workshop after hours where an average person can come, voice their opinion, whether you're for it or against it. Let's get an opportunity, make our voices heard. I personally think it's a big deal. You know, that's quite a large cost. The location is a question with a lot of folks. And I'm thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the road, the future impact to Crooked Creek and our fishery and Northwest Florida.
I was going to say, just on that same subject, the trout fishing we were just talking about.
That's right.
You know, you take a great pristine creek like that, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of boat traffic on it. The historical wintertime trout fishing there,
nothing shuts down an early daylight trout bite like boat traffic. Yeah. And you know, folks, we talk about it all the time. We live in a spectacular place. This has been our home, will always be. And Northwest Florida has an opportunity, and we're going to grow to do things the right way. Let's use South Florida as an example, what not to do in so many instances. You can't fix it once it's messed up. And this is an opportunity for us to come together and do the right thing. Yeah. We want an opportunity for public input, a workshop. I think the citizens deserve that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can make that happen, talk with the commissioners, and put all ideas on the table. Let's look at our options.
Well, we all fish it.
We
have for years. You know, it's like we're on this all the time. It's not a great big body of water.
No, it's not.
In the wintertime, it's a tremendous place to fish. But, you know, you have access to that.
Sure.
Okay, and we have got to protect our fisheries. We've got to protect our water. We've got to protect the industry we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
You know, you can put in at West Bay and run there in just a matter of minutes. You can put in over at
Burnt Mill Creek, which I've been told that the lease on that lasts till 2028.
And there's no reason to change that.
That's a long time.
Well,
that
facility is already there for one thing, and the next thing is that boat ramp is at the mouth of the creek.
Yeah,
so the traffic putting in there is not going to be running up and down the creek.
Listen, we're running out of time. We got to get out of here, but we need a voice. Let Winston know. We got to get together and let it be heard from people who fish this water. You know what needs to be done. Look, have a great weekend. I appreciate these guys as always, and do something good for somebody today. And we'll see you Monday.
God bless you.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.